Oscar, shut up.
Lineage of dysfunction. And how do I correct? Where do I begin from these ruins? An unmade bed, an empty bed, a lingering absence, and yet unable to articulate what it is that is absent. Is it sickness if you don't know you're sick? Been infected by last names? You self-soothe me with my fears, a wounded spectacle, a performing pathology. On the fringes, on the interstices, is where I hide, where I thrive. But the longer I am here, the harder it is to go from here, to leave this unmade bed, to leave this lingering absence. I become the deep valley. I become the deepest trench. I become the interstice, the fringe, the margin.
Family, famulus noun, an assistant or servant, especially one working for a magician or scholar. Familia, noun, a household or religious community under one head, regarded as a unit, now family. Above genus and below order, disorder, a group of related things. How does one put into practice what you don't know, understand, or perhaps you don't even know if that's what you want? Maybe that's the problem. Not even the nuclear family or chosen family, but instead stability, communication, care, healthy care.
The bridge you told me to stand on, that you told me to wait for you in, I've been waiting here, haunted here, and only strangers approach me. They ask me if it's you I'm looking for, and they try to be you for a while, until I recognize that they're imposters. What happened to our bridge? Are you beneath the water that flows? Have you become the sun that penetrates my eyes and browns my skin? Are you perhaps the bridge? Our home stays cold in the summer. Not even the pests dare to come inside. And yet, I crawl here, drag my elbows here. If I'm anywhere else, in an even better home, I still desire to come back to ours, to our home, that home the neighbors talk about.
Care, healthy care. Not the gaslighting kind. The kind where I tell you I don't know what's true or not anymore. That I can't remember what actually happened and what did not because you repeated it hadn't. And I tell you this. Maybe you think of your sister, her hysteria, and you fear for me. You tell me it did happen. And now I don't trust you even more.
I've been held hostage in this home, on our bridge. I've been captive. The door stays open and I retract further, paralyzed by flight. I confess I try to build a new home elsewhere, but am I instead going to another cage, orphaned by actions outside of my own? I kept my promises. I stayed loyal to your history when all claim blasphemy.
Mija, te quiero mucho, pero no puedo. Papi tells me she either comes around or you walk away. I don't want to run suicides anymore. I'm embarrassed of the dysfunction. I tell X, I don't think I'm worthy of stability. He tells me dysfunction is as ubiquitous as trash in LA. That sometimes it's more prevalent in certain households, and that's no coincidence. He asks me, do you want to have kids? No, I'm not really interested. He tells me that one day I'll fall in love and want a family. God, that's so boring. You sound like my mother. He tells me I'm young. He's 14 years my senior. I tell him, honestly, I don't think you should have kids. We laugh. He tells me, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Have I served you well? Do I finally deserve the congratulations? What is the purpose of my longing? The purpose of my desires? For another frail home? I replay stories of our favorite days. The present becomes rituals to our memories. I become a martyr for your name, your fraught legacy. I proclaim myself out of your past. I made homages to lust, left ethics to stoics, become the plague I inherited but so desperately wanted to be. I made claims with mouths, fed them with my empty plate, negotiated with God, made pacts with obscure, and so I remain unclean and tainted, doomed to repeat our myth, repeat tragedy. Why do I desire destruction?
I tell X I don't think I'm worthy of stability.
So I confess, I confess, I confess, I confess. I repent. I've made sins, sins I don't feel obliged to regret. I park here, in this valley, in this trench, in this bridge. I've concealed my tracks, and here is where I descend.
Chosen family. Squishy, squishy, I love my tenders. The best thing about my chosens, my dearest, the best thing about this unit is that it's so damn flexible. Contract, expand. I've had about 5 chosen families. Sometimes you make some cuts, some mends, some cuts, some more cuts, so many cuts. And some have deep roots. Even if you yank, they remain.
When I try to forget, I only remember. Begin to excavate myself. Dig myself deeper in your grave. Our grave. It's ours, right? Is that all you left? Somehow, even though you clawed your way out too soon before I discovered my language, I became you. Without even knowing, without trying, they say I mimic your walk, mimic your charm, that Boyle Heights dialect, that anxious ambition.
My mommy texts me. El otro día escuché que cosas opuestas se atraen, como que oradores se casan con despilfiladores, y me acordé de mí misma. Pero después dijeron que madrugadores se casan con aves nocturnas, y pensé en ti y en toda la familia de tu padre. Ja, ja, ja. Le contesto, pero yo soy a la misma vez ave nocturna y madrugadora. Eso no es verdad, me dice.
I muse that is in my unconscious yearning for you, that I become your ghost. Like rubber bands, I run farther, 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 farther from our crime scene, only to spring back into it. I'm you. I'm you. I'm the blood that ran through your veins.
¿Ya no le contestas a tu madre, Carla Greta? I try to explain to you that it's difficult when love and rejection share the same roof. You suggest I run. Sometimes you run from and chase after in the same steps. I tell Crystal, there are certain parts of my family I don't share, even to my most intimates. They'll judge me. I share with those with only the ones who have affinity. Some stuff is only for those who share the language. And the last thing I want is pity, so I don't share. And no details. I'm sure we all have our own. Just don't make a read on me, okay? My tia asked me why I'm so interested in knowing my family's past. I don't know. She tells me she could care less about her family's history. Besides, it's so fractured, she can't even search for it. Not everything they carry belongs to them. This baggage doesn't pertain to my family. Hear me out. Most of this is colonial debris. Hear me out, just hear me out. Mommy, they placed it in your hands, but it doesn't mean you have to hold it. You can set it down. This doesn't belong to her, so can I hold it against her?
In an endless marathon, where the end takes me back to the beginning, I stay possessed. Prayers stop working, but did they ever work at all? I abolish history. I leave faith to the futile. Do you see how I run these mazes?
And yet, At what point has she claimed it? If she has adopted it, when is she responsible?
I make ends too soon, detached before I'm forgotten, born in silence, make mockery of my misery, send letters without a return address.
My best friend tells me she wants to be a millionaire. I see a small tear in my chosen family. I tell her if that's what she wants, then I guess why not? Knowing inside that there's no place for me in that. That to be a millionaire, you fuck someone over. And that I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to watch it. What do we need for a strong connection? How do we share support?
Bridge, bridge, puente, puente, me voy. And how I kept your promise to you, now you to me. Recuérdame bonito.
How do we mend? Who do we choose? I don't have all the answers, but I do know we must abandon all reduction. We can't reduce each other so that we can fit in each other's mouths. I'm not here to be palpable.